The ACU football team hits the road for its first conference game against Houston Baptist. I'm Madison Kreitz.
And I'm Max Preston. We'll recap last week's home opening win against Angelo State and preview the conference opener against HBU. It's the Adam Dorrel Show right now. Welcome to the Adam Dorrel Show from the James C. Network studios of the ACU campus. I'm Max Preston alongside my partner Madison Kreitz and, of course, head coach Adam Dorrel. The Wildcats played their home opener against Angelo State Rams and won 41-24. Coach, your team ran away with the game in the second half, but, in the second quarter, the Rams were leading at halftime. Yeah. So did you get a taste of the former Division II rivalry between
Absolutely, we did. Yeah, we did. We came out and started really strong. I was proud of our guys, and then man, the momentum just swung, and honestly, I haven't been in a ton of games where the momentum has swung that quickly, that fast. So it was really good. A lot of things we're going to learn from it as a football program. A lot of things we did learn. A lot of things I learned about from our team. So, the fact that we came out with the win and got behind like we did, I think signifies some good things to come for our team.
Coach, so you start Southland play this weekend away against Houston Baptist. Yeah. How important is this game for the team, and how are you going to keep composure on the road this week?
Yeah, I think we really tried to look at those first two games as the year as almost like preseason games to try to see who we were as a football team, to try to solidify some of our depth, look at some of our young guys with the new redshirt rule. And so, we're spending this week as a coaching staff talking to our players, clearly defining their role as we move into conference play. We made the decision to redshirt some kids we won't redshirt. And so I think for me, the number one thing is just continue to learn how to practice properly our process. And, I've challenged our guys, hey, let's focus on Tuesday, Wednesday. And, if we can do that, I think that'll really lead us into Saturday's game with a lot of confidence and a chance to hopefully play really well on the road.
Well, we're excited to see the outcome this week, Coach. We will preview tonight's game against our first Southland opponent later in the show, but when we come back, we'll have highlights and get Coach Dorrel's analysis on the game against Angelo State. Don't go anywhere. It's the Adam Dorrel Show. Welcome back to the Adam Dorrel Show. Last Saturday, ACU opened the Wildcat Stadium for the second time against former Division II rival Angelo State. Here's Madison with the highlights.
The former Division II rivalry between the Wildcats and Angelo State Rams started off strong in the first quarter with a 26-yard run by Tracy James after an impressive season opener last week against Baylor. A few plays later, junior Josh Fink makes his debut catch of the season. With a 43-yard pass from Luke Anthony, Fink rolls into the end zone, making the score 14-0 for the Wildcats, ending the first quarter. The second quarter opens up quickly as Oscar Hernandez kicks a field goal to strengthen the ACU lead. After an ACU kickoff, Angelo State's wide receiver, Larry Johnson, runs the ball 88 yards down the field to put the Rams on the scoreboard. The kickoff return was the first of Johnson's career. Angelo State scores again with an 8-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Charlie Rotherham to wide receiver Lawson Ayo, cutting the Wildcats' lead to 17-14. The Rams continued to make offensive moves as linebacker Donovan Jackson intercepts Anthony for a 29-yard interception return. ASU then closes out the first half of the game with a field goal with 0 seconds left on the clock. The Wildcats look to regain their lead in the second half. Fink comes in for his second touchdown of the night, tying up the game 24-24. Anthony then goes in for a 1-yard run to push the Wildcats back up with a lead. ACU defense then breaks through the Rams' offensive line and forces a fumble to give the Cats the ball back. This was the perfect setup for ACU to begin the fourth quarter, allowing Hernandez to kick another field goal, making the score 34-24. The Wildcats were able to close out the game with a 6-yard run by Tyrese White. The Wildcats ended their home opener with a win and a score of 41-24.
Thanks, Madison. 41-24, the final score. So, Coach, it's the second opener of Wildcat Stadium. Fans and everybody's really anticipating the game. I was on the sideline during the game, and the student section was really interactive. Did you like the energy from the fans and your team during the game?
Absolutely. I thought the crowd was great, and we appreciate everybody coming out. I thought the student section was really, really good. And so, it was looking bleak there a little bit, like it was going to rain, and they really started to trickle in with about 15 minutes before the game started. So I loved everything about opening day. I thought the logistics were great. I thought our guys were ready to play. I thought the crowd was good, and it's good to have football back.
Absolutely.
So, Coach, the game started out with a 17-0 run. And it looked like you guys were going to run away with the game, but ASU came up in the second quarter scoring all 24 of their points. So going into halftime with it being 24-17, what was that conversation like in the locker room?
Well, I think the thing, we always meet as coaches at first out in the hallway, and then we go into the locker room. So the thing that was really encouraging to me by the time I got to our football team, there was just a very calm but very firm from our captains, leadership guys, that this is what we needed to do the second half. So I'll be honest with you, from a culture standpoint, as a coach, man, I was very happy, as crazy as that sounds, and I was very confident in our team, and I knew what we were going to do the third, fourth quarter. I really believe that, just because we have a little saying, calm is contagious, and it's easier said than done when you're in a football game and things aren't going well. So to see our guys exhibiting that calm is contagious in the locker room, but very focused on the things that we needed to fix and the things that we could do, it was just really powerful. And honestly, I think our team's really going to grow from our experience. The fact that we got a win at home, there's just a lot of positive things that came out of Saturday.
So, Coach, coming out of halftime, you have a 13-play drive. You take 5 minutes, 38 seconds off of the clock, and that drive is capped off by a 14-yard tipped pass touchdown from Luke Anthony to Josh Fink. That play really has to be a big momentum boost for your team, right?
Well, it is. That's how we draw it up. You want the ball to be tipped by the defensive lineman and then fly into his hands. I'm just kidding there, by the way. But, yeah, we went down for the 13 plays. I think we had 2 penalties on that. And to see our guys battle back the way that they did through adversity, again, in football, in my experience, most important drive of a football game is the first drive of the second half. Whether you're on offense or whether you're on defense, whether you're winning or whether you're losing, it just really sets the tempo for the rest of the football game. And so, I challenged our team to come out and perform and respond, and I thought they did. We scored. Defense went out there, got us the ball back, and we went down and I think scored again. So I just thought there was a lot of really great things that we did. I think the most important thing we did in the third quarter is I thought we were extremely physical. I thought we ran the ball really well, converted on third down, and again, I just had a lot of guys doing their 1/11th, doing their job.
The defense played tough most of the game, and they did struggle a little bit in the second quarter, but in those other 3 quarters, they didn't allow any scoring plays. So how do you encourage the defense and keep making them play the way they did in those 3 quarters?
Yeah, I thought they played, lights out. I really did. I thought they tackled really well compared to week 1. That was something they wanted to really capitalize on. They were able to force 3 turnovers, which, again, that's been a big thing that we, Coach Jackson and the 212 is really trying to get more turnovers this year. And just to be real candid with you, I think, the offense, we put them in a lot of bad positions with the touchdown, the kickoff return for a touchdown, and then the interception that I think the guy returned 15 or 20 yards. So I thought they played really well. I thought they kept their composure. I thought they tackled well. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more pass rush right before the halftime, but at that point in time, the momentum had swung and they were really trying to keep everything inside and in front, not give up another big play. But I was just very pleased with their preparation and the way they played Saturday.
So, speaking of defense, Adonis Davis, big interception in the fourth quarter. He very acrobatic, looked like a receiver on the play, honestly. But that's a huge play. Obviously, that hypes your team. But at that moment, did you know your team had control of winning the game?
We felt good, just because I always try to gauge that on the sideline a little bit. There's just I don't necessarily have one particular thing I can rely on. I think you've been around me enough. I'm really big on self-talk and positive talk and body language. and I try to read a lot from our team and our coaches, and I felt like our body language was really good. It was strong. It was confident. I heard guys over there in the fourth quarter talking about we have to finish this game. We can't allow the fourth quarter to be like the second quarter. And so when you hear guys talking about that stuff, not in a negative way, in a positive way to keep us focused, it's pretty powerful. And I think the game of football, you really got to rely on your upperclassmen and captains. And I thought those guys did a phenomenal job. Adonis's play was, unbelievable. I'm very proud of Adonis. Adonis is a young man in our program that his preparation is impeccable, his film study, his competitiveness. And to be really honest, I think a lot of people look at him and go, well, we're just going to throw, deep 50-50 balls. And I don't think they caught one of those balls the whole night. So just very proud of him and his progression.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
It was a 41-24 victory for the Wildcats and a good way to open up home play for the team. Let's take a look at the rest of the scores around the Southland Conference. We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, a look at the rest of sports around ACU.
Welcome back to the Adam Dorrel Show. We'll preview the game against Houston Baptist in just a minute, but first, here's Max with a look at the other sports around ACU.
Thanks, Madison. We'll start with soccer as the team went on a weekend road trip to face North Alabama and Arkansas Pine Bluff. The Wildcats started the weekend off right as they handed North Alabama their second straight loss in a 2-0 victory last Friday, capped off by goals from Dylan Owens and Sam Vestal. ACU then completed a perfect weekend with a 4-0 win over Arkansas Pine Bluff last Sunday. Every goal came from a different player, which included Sophie Standifer, Christina Artega, Katie Acosta, and Emily Heidman. The successful road trip gave the Wildcats an even 2-2 record in away games this season and set them at 5-2 overall. The team was next scheduled to face Houston Baptist Friday evening. We go to the court for volleyball now as the team was in Oklahoma last weekend for the Tulsa Invitational. The Wildcats faced Tulsa University and Oral Roberts. ACU started with Tulsa Friday evening and lost 3-2. The match went back and forth with the Wildcats taking the first set, Tulsa taking the second set, ACU winning the third set, and then Tulsa closing out with straight wins in the fourth and fifth set. The team came back on Saturday, however, and snapped its 7-game losing streak against Oral Roberts with a 3-2 set victory. The Wildcats dropped the first set but came back to win in the next 2 sets. ORU took the fourth set, but ACU proved victorious in the tie-breaking fifth set. J.C. Smith stood out in the 2 matches with 26 kills, and Kendall Bossy continued her strong season with 100 total assists. ACU was scheduled to participate in the SMU Doubletree Classic this weekend. We'll hit the greens now as the golf team competed in its first tournament up in Colorado Springs last weekend. Alex Klaus showed out well for the Wildcats as he finished tied for 5th individually out of 93 players. He shot 4 under for the tournament with a total of 212 strokes. Garrett Glanton was next in line individually for ACU, finishing tied for 25th. He was 2 strokes over for the tournament with 218 total. The Wildcats finished 9th out of 16 schools overall. The team doesn't play again until September 23rd at the Trinity Forest Invitational. As we already mentioned, the football team won its home opener last Saturday against Angelo State. Madison had the chance to talk with some of the stars of the game, Jeremiah Chambers and Josh Fink. Madison?
Thanks, Max. We're here with Josh Fink and Jeremiah Chambers. Josh, you had a great game on Saturday with 161 yards and catches and 2 touchdowns. So how did you prepare for this week knowing that DJ Fuller was going to be out?
Yeah, I mean, DJ is a dynamic playmaker for us. When he went down versus Baylor, our whole receiving corps knew we needed to step it up. And I was able to make some plays on Saturday, but it wasn't just me. Our O-line protected really well. Luke threw a great ball. Kobe Clark, a true freshman, stepped up. We had a good game plan going in, so it was a complete team effort.
Jeremiah, you also had a fantastic game on Saturday with 10 tackles leading the defense. Was there anything about the Angelo State offense that was challenging or you had to adjust to?
Not really. We just knew that we needed to stop the run, and our defense did that really well. We executed really well, and our defensive line won up front, allowing us to run and make tackles, so it helped us out.
So Josh, how is the offense planning on improving and moving on from last week's win to this week against Houston Baptist?
Yeah, I think our big focus this week is just playing complete game. We kind of had a letdown in the second quarter versus Angelo, so we want to put together 4 full quarters of ACU football.
And Jeremiah, what do you think the defense needs to do to keep up the momentum for this week's game?
We definitely need to execute. We need to tackle really well, and we just need to win up front, and then hopefully it'll work out for us. Thanks
for making time for us, guys. Max, we're going to send it back to you.
Thanks, Madison. Well, that's all we have time for this week around ACU sports. When we come back, we'll preview tonight's game with Coach Dorrel. As we welcome you back to the Adam Dorrel Show, take a look at today's schedule around the Southland Conference. We now focus on tonight's game, the first conference matchup against Houston Baptist. Last year, the Wildcats also faced HBU for their first Southland game, and it was the opening of Wildcat Stadium as well. ACU won 24-3 against the Huskies. Coach, you hope to get the same result this year, except you face them on the road. Will it be tough to face them in Houston?
Yeah, it will. I think the biggest challenge we have right now is it's early in the year. They have two new coordinators. They have a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. They've totally changed everything they're doing on offense and defense. They opened with Southwest Baptist, who, quite honestly, it wasn't a very competitive game. And so we really only have one game film on them. It's McNeese. So it's been a challenge this week and trying to get ready and look at their diversity and offense, defense. But, yeah, we're expecting a good atmosphere and a really tough game.
So HBU's quarterback Bailey Zapp is starting pretty strong this season with 39 of 66 passes and 6 touchdowns, and he's actually tied third nationally. So what do you think the defense is going to need to bring this week to be able to appeal to that Husky offense?
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. He started for them last year, so he's got a year of experience under his belt, which in college football is huge at the quarterback position. The new system, I think, fits him really well. He's getting the ball out of his hand early. He's not taking sacks, which I think he took a lot of those last year. And then, quite honestly, their ability to run the ball this year has really helped take some pressure off him. They're very dynamic at the skill spot, whether it's the slot receiver, wide receiver, or the running back. And so he's doing a really good job of setting his matchups up, throwing the ball downfield, and he's, just had some receivers going up and making plays. But going to be hard for our defense. They're the number one offense in our league right now. And for us defensively, we can't give up those big plays over the top. That's number one. Number two, we have to stop the run and keep everything in front of us. And then just, we can't get in a frenzy with their tempo. They're trying to snap the football anywhere from 12 to 15 seconds. And so they'll be as up-tempo as anybody we see this year. So there's, three really big factors right now our defense has got to face.
So, Coach, you excelled at basically every position on offense last weekend. Josh Fink was a monster. Luke Anthony, he had 370 yards. Tracy James was a workhorse. Is there any specific spot on offense that you have to improve on this week or get better to get through the Husky defense?
Well, honestly, I'm looking at where we're at all our positions, and I think, offensive line-wise, I've been very pleased with the offensive line and their progression this year. I just think we're exponentially better than we were last year, and Dakota Laws didn't play Saturday, our starting left tackle. He's going to play. Reese Backman is a name people are not familiar with. He's a transfer. He has not played yet. He's had some medical stuff to overcome. He's been cleared. He's been practicing for the last 2 weeks. He's going to play a lot. Both those kids are very, very dynamic at the tackle spot. I think are going to help us. But, I just look for us to continue to improve from where we were last year. And last game, I think we're going to continue to spread the football out. We want to be really balanced with run pass. Probably threw it a few too many times last week, and so we're going to try to really hone in on our balance as the game goes. But, we're really excited because we feel like we're starting to get to full strength. And so hopefully you see some big improvements.
Okay. Well, we look forward to the opening Southland matchup tonight against HBU. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. and the pregame show will start at 5:30. For Coach Dorrel and Madison Kreitz, I'm Max Preston. Enjoy this evening's game, and we'll see you next week.